Hey guys, welcome back to the Niecey Perspective. I'm Niecey, and this is where I share my thoughts on life, womanhood, and everything we experience, just from my perspective. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Niecey Perspective. It's your girl Niecey. And of course, the globe affirmation is I refuse to financially burden my future for a single day. I choose memories over pressure. Always. That's gorgeous. And I always wondered to myself, if I had millions of dollars, if I was worth a lot more, would I drop so much money on a wedding? And I always thought to myself, I don't know. Like, sometimes I guess because of the situation I'm in now, I'm saying to myself, okay, maybe I would budget for a 20K wedding max, okay? But as opposed to, like, if I was really, really big money, would I spend 50, 60K on a wedding? Or even more? Sometimes I really wonder that. I always think about, if I had this amount of money, would I drop this bag for a wedding? And then you gotta think about it. I was looking at the average wedding, and the average wedding costs about 50K. The average wedding costs about 50K. And some people do not even make that annually. And if they do, they're probably right at that mark. So if the average is around 50K and people are not making that much money, how are they able to save to pay for the wedding? Now it makes sense why some people stretch their wedding out to like 2-3 years. It makes sense. And then some people, they think about it saying to myself, okay, if I make 100K, my partner makes 100K, dropping 50K not too bad if we just keep budgeting it accordingly and planning accordingly. But to spend that much money on a wedding, I don't know if I would do that. Hey, I don't know. That's just my perspective. I don't know. That's something good to ponder on. And then also what I've noticed, because I am on Wedding Talk, and I love being on Wedding Talk. I absolutely love getting inspiration. I love finding the do's, the do nots, how to finesse, what you could finesse on, what you can't finesse on, how you could do things, how you cannot do things. I love being on Wedding Talk. So I was on Wedding Talk, and this is one person that I follow very wholeheartedly. And she explained to me that she will go in and she will ask a vendor for a quote, and as soon as they hear the word wedding, she feels like they triple their prices. And honestly, I've heard that statement several times, that a lot of people just triple their prices as soon as they hear wedding. And some people just say they're having a party and the prices are even much lower. And then when that vendor finds out it's the actual wedding, they're upset because they're like, oh, you should have told me X, Y, and Z. But if I'm thinking right, if it's a floral arrangement, you're doing the same amount of work that's for a wedding that is similar to a party. Same exact work. Why doesn't it cost the same amount of money? The same thing if somebody wants a balloon drop at their party and they want it at their wedding. The same work, same labor. Why is it more money? I can understand. I was on TikTok, of course, and I saw this makeup artist. And she said the reason why she charges slightly more for brides is because I guess she says she uses some sort of products that would help your makeup last longer for the wedding. And then I pondered to myself and say, but if somebody was having a party, wouldn't you want to do the same exact thing? It's just a Niecey perspective. I'm just curious to know about that. If you know that you're doing your makeup, your best, bombest makeup for somebody that's having a birthday or a party, like a graduation party, a birthday party, wouldn't you use that same exact effort when it comes to your makeup to make sure it lasts long, it looks good in pictures, the same thing you do for a wedding? And I'm just asking genuinely a question, because that's how my mind is wondering. Like, how can you say that? And then, because now it makes people want to question your work if you're using the right work for their party, why their face is melting, as opposed to somebody that's a bride, their face is on point. I could imagine why a makeup artist may charge more money when it comes to traveling. That makes a whole bunch of sense. That makes sense for traveling. It also makes sense if you're doing like we're doing your bridesmaids, you're doing your maid of honor, your matron of honor, you're doing your mother of the bride, your mother-in-law. Like, I can understand those aspects. But if you are a bride and I'm paying you money and I want the same quality of work that you would do for, like, if you're doing somebody's birthday party, graduation, etc., why don't the same products align? Why are you saying that you use certain products for this and certain product for that? Because now it goes in my head, I start to question that. You know what I'm saying? I also hear a lot about there's so much hidden costs. It comes to a gratuity. I write this down. Gratuity, service fees, alterations, a whole bunch of other hidden fees. And I'm the type of person, like, I like for you to tell me up front so I could pay up front. Like, when I go on a cruise, I'm paying for all my gratuities up front because I don't want to hear X, Y, and Z when time comes. You want to increase my bill when it's time for me to leave. That's how my mindset works. I want to know how much everything is coming up front. I want to know the burden, the labor, the products, everything up front. So I have that in the back of my mind. This costs $10,000 with everything included. Boom. I don't want to hear after everything has happened, oh, you still owe me like 2, 3, 4 grand. I don't want to hear that. I want to know all your hidden fees or little slight fees that you guys have in your contract that's like extremely small that people won't know. I want to know that because I want to know what my money is going towards. And again, if you want to have the most gorgeous, beautiful wedding, I completely understand that you don't want to be so parsimonious. You also want to make sure that you are buying the things that looks good. You want to make sure you're prepped. You make sure you're ready. You want to make sure you are that girl, that boy, whomever. I get it. I understand that. But I want to know, what are the hidden fees? Let me know ahead of time so I can keep that in the back of my mind that you charging this amount of money and I know how to budget accordingly. Because sometimes I feel like vendors have to understand people's budget. Unless it was an accident that happened or an incident that happened, and apart from having wedding insurance, because I heard that's very important to have, you got to also let the person know, like, hey, this happened, X, Y, Z, and let them know that's understandable because that's something that happens. Since we're talking about stepping into our best selves, let me put you on FITO glasses, which is FYTOO. They instantly level up your look while you're at work, brunch, or just on Zoom. Plus, you could get 15% off by using my code NIECEYS, NIECEYYS. And also, if you want to get some prescription glasses without breaking the bank, definitely hit up FITO. But more something like straight up front, and you're not explaining that to the person, how do you expect them to seriously feel after the fact? You tell them that you're telling somebody that they still owe 5K and they get ready to go on their honeymoon. Or a person had that 5K in their savings and then here you come saying, oh my gosh, you just, like, let people know the hidden fees up front. And I feel like people will be so much better off like that. Let me know everything you require up front on the documented lines, and we can negotiate what we can and we could budget accordingly to what we can and move on from there. But I also think when we look at certain things like on Pinterest, on Instagram, on TikTok, and even on these reality shows, how we are envisioning our wedding is not exactly what our budget could pay for. Hear me out. Let's say you see this gorgeous wedding, like you want a certain specific wedding at this location, at this venue. You want this caterer, you want this decorator, you want this, you want that entertainment, you want this DJ, you want all of these stuff. And you're seeing this on these reality shows, you're seeing it on TikTok, Instagram, you're seeing it Pinterest, everything, and you are trying to budget yourself accordingly. I'm going to be very honest with you, and this is just a Niecey perspective. If your budget does not align for it, yes, DIY will take you so much far, but it's not going to get you what you want. Because I honestly think at the bottom line, the venue is what's going to matter the most. There are some decorators that I can say and admit that they would decorate their ass off, that the venue won't match how the venue actually look after they do the decorations. But again, if you are on a budget and you know you cannot afford that, understand that. I've seen so much jokes on TikTok, especially wedding talk, where people will come talk about going to a black tie type of event, but the venue doesn't match the theme of the wedding. And again, that goes into reality versus what's on social media. And that's something that we need to understand as well. Because you want people to come to this extravagant dress post, as they say, and the venue not matching, and certain things not match it. And then now that people are like, what's going on here? And again, that's just a Niecey perspective. All I'm saying is that's something that's a huge factor as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm ready. Me in my mind, I don't even think I want a wedding. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am at the point in my life that I don't think I want to spend that much money on a wedding to have people sit down and chat, nyam, and still chat and say what can be done, what cannot be done. Simple as that. The way how I feel, I have no problem having a close group of my family and friends. We do a reception party and I do a courthouse wedding and I go all out for my honeymoon. And the more as I got older, that's the more type of vibe that I'm on. It's the more type of vibe that I'm on. I'm not trying to drop 20, 30K going into debt to pay for a wedding. I understand you could do payment plans and stuff like that. But in my mind, I'm saying to myself, damn, I got to wait a whole year and a half for this wedding. Oh my God, it flies. No. No, I don't. Maybe my mindset will change when it comes to the opportunity that I do get engaged. Hey, I don't know. But as of right now, I feel like this is where my mindset stands on this whole aspect of it. Like, everybody knows the type of wedding theme that I want to have. And I understand I may have to DIY a whole bunch of crap. And I know the type of budget that I have. I try not to watch so much stuff for reality that might knock me from living in right now, because I see stuff on the Pinterest and I'm like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. And I look at the venue, I'm like, okay, I don't think my wedding is gonna be at that type of venue. Like, you know what I mean? That's exactly how I'm thinking about it and how I'm trying to paraphrase to you guys. Now, there are some weddings that are very performative versus actual celebrations. There are some weddings where people just want to be hype and bossy with, as opposed to there are some weddings that are just more so meaningful and supposed to be for celebrations. Now, one thing I could definitely say is that when it comes to having a wedding, you can't do wedding for other people. You have to do the wedding for yourself. And what I mean by that is a lot of us try to do certain weddings to make sure we are pleased to people. And they're the same people that are going to sit down and chat you like dag on what you did wrong, what you should have done, what I should have done, why didn't do this, why didn't do that. Because I even caught myself doing that. And I'm like, yo, I did not pay for this wedding. I didn't put a dime in this wedding. Why do I have to have an opinion on what somebody else is doing? That's their own wedding. That's their celebration. That's what they love. That's what they wanted to do. That's how everything flowed for them. That's not my opportunity to talk about them like that. It's not. And that's something that I had to understand and learn that the hard way. Like, I cannot be judging off of what somebody else is doing and what I'm doing. Like, I can't do that. So that's why I can understand. And then some weddings are performative, because look at Yandy and Mandisi's wedding. I feel like that wedding was very performative, because come to find out, they weren't even legally married. But I know why Yandy did that, and shout out to you, girl, because that makes a whole lot of sense. But look at that wedding. Like, some people said it was very performative. Some people said it wasn't up to what it's like. The performative wedding didn't match the marriage, if that makes sense. And I also think that's another factor. A lot of us, and I could say some of them are us women, we look more into the wedding and not the actual marriage. And I feel like that's why a lot of people, their weddings may not last long. Like, their marriage may not last long. Because if you're only focusing on the wedding aspect, this have to go right, that have to go right, this is how you're going to look good, this is how you're going to do that, and not actually sit down and mentally prepare for the marriage, then what are you doing and why are you getting married? Because like, at the end of the day, it's a meaningful celebration between two individuals that love each other, that come together as one and move on from there. And then we also have the pressure of impressing versus celebrating, because as opposed to me, I know there are some family members that I cut off and some people that I don't talk to anymore, that they are not coming to my wedding. I do not care. This is not the time for no family reunion. And that's another thing. If you know you have a family member or a friend that you haven't talked to, that you can't hit them up, they don't remember your name, your birthday, none of that, and you invite them to your wedding, or they ask, where's my invite for the wedding? No. You need to invite people at a wedding that you feel is genuine and that's genuinely love you and your crew. Which is, your crew is your partner. That's the way I see it. There is no way you should be having a wedding and none of you all feel the exact same way with each other. That does not make any sense to me. There are people that love to be like, oh my God, where's my invite? You didn't get an invite and you're not getting an invite. And I feel like that's another factor when it comes into play. We have to stop having the pressure of impressing people and their wants and focus on our wants our being in you as the person that's getting married, you need to focus on your wants, your needs, and not what a family member is saying. That's why when I hear the term bridezilla or groomzilla, I'm like, it's their wedding. It's to celebrate themselves between the two of them. It's not for you guys. It's not for your entertainment, not for your enjoyment. I don't care if you like it or not. I don't care if you like the food. I don't care if you don't like the food. I don't care if you like the music. You don't like the music. That's not your wedding. It's not for you. It's for the people that are getting married. It's to celebrate them. It's not about you. It's really not. And that's something that when it comes to weddings, we have to sit down and understand. If I am going to a wedding, I'm going to the wedding looking at Black love, saying, yeah, this is good. Why am I sitting down with a whole book out like I'm Joan Rivers and critiquing everything? Because how does that benefit me? Because now I'm going to be looked at as bitter. And number two, they're gonna say to me, did you contribute anything? And I'm be like, no. Then why the hell am I talking? You catching my drift, right? And again, that's just a Niecey perspective, but you gotta be catching my drift. I just feel like there's some things with weddings that we just gotta be like, okay, that is not our opinions to talk. This is between this union right here. This is between these two individuals, and this is what they love about each other, and this is how they want to go out and celebrate their wedding. Now, the reason why I like the courthouse plus reception approach, again, right now, because I don't know if my mind would change in the future, but right now, the reason why I like that perspective, because one, I don't want to spend a lot of money on a wedding. I really don't. I would like to have a reception party. Absolutely. That's going to cost me under 5K. I would love to have a reception party that would cost me under 5K. When it comes to the courthouse wedding, I want it to be more of a union between me and my partner. And of course, you're going to have our close, meaning mother, father, and that's it. That's my opinion. That's all I want at that moment. But I wanted it to be into like a video, like Beyonce, like a video of Beyonce and like on the run kind of video with she and Jay-Z. Then I want that video to have images of us there. Then it translate into the reception party. So as we're walking into the reception party, the video is playing and it's showing the union between us. And then we bring it in from there. And that's it. Because that will cost about 5 to 7K ish. The reason why I say that, because I know vendors like to go crazy when it comes to certain venues, especially if you have a reception or a party. When it comes to catering and stuff like that, you got to accommodate to when you accommodate to. But that's the type of vision that I kind of have for how I want to bring my union in, and then I want to spend 10K on my honeymoon. I don't care. I was looking at the Maldives, looking at this hotel that it has a villa on the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm thinking about. That's my mindset. But again, things may change in the future. I'm always saying things may change in the future. Sometimes your mindset changes as you get older. And I'm not engaged yet, so I don't know. I haven't even talked to my partner about what he like or what he want. He kind of always says, hey, it depends on what you like, and that's it. And that's the type of partner that I like, because he's going off of me. Because he knows I like to plan stuff. So that's the only thing, like, how I think about in my head. Now, how am I going to stay bougie in a budget? I'm a DIY girly, and I like to know people that do stuff and get like negotiate and get some type of form of how to maneuver around certain things. I'm not saying I'm gonna go extra cheap. I'm not saying that. But I just feel like I know the type of vision that I want and vision that I have, that it can translate perfectly to a great reception party. But again, if I choose in the future that I want to have a wedding, like an actual wedding, that's a different story. If I got the bread, that's a different story. But right now, the way I am feeling, I just don't want to spend that much money. And this is my general opinion. I know people say it's for memories, it's once in a lifetime, opportunity. You are absolutely positively correct. Maybe in 5 years, I'll plan for to do a re-wedding. That's the way I think about it. Because sometimes people like to do that. They like to remarry each other, all that good stuff. Maybe I may do that. It's all different. It's all a different mindset and how I think about things. But honestly, in the type of time that I am right now, I just don't really want to spend that much money. I want to more so save my money, and I want to travel, enjoy different types of cultures and islands, and that's the way how my mindset is. But again, if I got the bread, it may change. What actually matters to me? So I know what everybody wants to have a wedding where they have all their family, their close family and friends that are there to help celebrate their union and their love with each other. But I also think what happens is, like I said previously, people use it as a time as a family reunion. And there's some family members that you haven't talked to in so long that you probably are not fond of. and then you have like your mother or your father or your grandmother or your grandfather say, oh my God, this person from X, Y, and Z, they know you from X, Y, and Z, or you have to invite your first grade teacher, or you have to invite your nurse. Like there's situations like that. That's what's gonna happen. I think that's also something that when it comes to weddings, I feel like that's why you have to learn how to put your foot down as well, because I feel like a lot of us, and I say a lot of us because I'm not included in the whole wedding part, but I'm just saying as a general whole statement, I feel like a lot of us, we always want to be, yeah, okay, grandma, yeah, okay, mama, yeah, okay, daddy, yeah, okay, grandpa, knowing that if there's somebody that you don't like, you don't have to invite them to your wedding. You do not. And yes, you may get coined the bridezilla, the groomzilla, as I previously mentioned, but when it comes to me and wedding, I view wedding as something that's very intimate. That's something that's between you and your partner, and you're sharing it with who you want to share it with. And you have to also learn how to draw that boundary line to let somebody know that, hey, I don't want that person to see this union that I have with my partner. And that's perfectly fine. That's the way how I view it. If I know that I'm having a reception party, I know who I'm inviting. And I know I would get some pushback on why this individual is not going, why that. But at the end of the day, I want it to be with people whom I know when it's my birthday, they text me happy birthday. Yes, I may have some family, like my grand uncle that I love so much. He may spell my name wrong. He may text me a day before or a day after. But one thing and two things for sure, he will tell me happy birthday. He will text me twice a month, three times a month, ask me how I'm doing. When it's holidays, even though I'm not a mother yet, he'll text me happy Mother's Day. Those are people who I want invited in my life to see my union. Those are people who I want. I don't want people that only want to show up when it's a certain occasion and I don't hear from you at all. I'm not doing that. And that's the thing about it. And especially since now there are some family members I just do not associate and talk to, they're not coming. Simple as that. So if I gotta be the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. But I want my union, again, it's not a family reunion. I want my union between me and my partner. I already know who I want and who I do not want and who's definitely not going. And I'm going to have security. If your name is not on... Okay, I'm doing too much. Have security. Nope, can't get in. Nope, you're not on the list. I don't even know how you even got invited. I don't even know how you knew. That's the type of vibe and that's the type of time that I'm on. And yes, weddings are for great memories, but you want to have the great memories with people that you love. That's how I envision. I want the memories to be with people whom I love, whom I think about dearly, who if I need $10, they'll say, yeah man, I got $10, I got you. I want those people in my life, and I think that's the biggest thing why I probably feel like I don't want a wedding. I'll just do a reception party, because I just want to make sure that the union that I have with me and my partner is between the both of us, and it cannot be spoiled. I'm not saying that it would, but I'm just saying in general, going to the courthouse and just having that one moment, or even going to like a private area and we just stand between me and him, my father, my mother, his mother, his father, and we just together, and we have that union together. And then with the reception, that's the vibes. With the close, we sharing this with you. We love you all. We thank you all, and that's the party, because we are partying down. We are throwing it to cartel. We gotta let the older people know it's after 8, 9. You gotta go, because it's gonna be ass shaking in here. It's gonna be a whole bunch of ass shaking. Once that cartel hit, once that vibes cartel, it is a dance hall party. At this point now, we're gonna be shaking ass, and I don't want to hear nobody say, "Oh my God, no." It's a party. I'm celebrating my union, me and my partner, but I'm shaking ass as well. Period. Clock it. Clock it. As somebody that likes to plan a lot, and the reason why I say that is because I won't lie. I go on the knot and I budget like I'm doing if I'm having a wedding right now to see how much that costs. I follow people on wedding TikTok just to get an idea of how much things cost. Like, don't get me wrong, some of these weddings look fabulous, but the price that y'all pay for, whew, I commend you guys 100%. I've seen people that wait 2 years to get married to make sure that they get the wedding that they want. And I love that for you. I love that for you so much. That takes a whole lot of dedication. That takes a whole lot of budgeting, extremely planning and going in. I know some people that choose to buy the house before they get married. I love that. I just love that. You know why? Because everybody has their own priorities and everybody stick with those priorities. And I look at that as inspiration and I love that so dearly. I'm like, yeah, you are doing your damn thing. Okay? Overall, what I would say, here are some takeaways that I have written down. Set a non-negotiable budget first. I feel like that's something that needs to be talked about. So let's say, for instance, let's say I would tell somebody I budget 15K, but in my mind, I know it's 20K. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that you are capped at that 20K in your mind mentally. So if they say, oh my God, this has to be extra, you're saying to yourself, I am mentally prepared for this. Boom. But don't budget yourself for 15K and then everything come out to 30K and you look like Boo Boo the Fool and you wonder why you're not the birthday anymore. Did I use that correctly? I don't know. I don't know if I used that correctly. But you get what I'm on, my drift. Since we're talking about stepping into our best selves, let me put you on FYTO glasses, which is FYTOO. They instantly level up your look while you're at work, brunch, or just on Zoom. Plus, you could get 15% off by using my code Nieceys, NIECEYYS. And also, if you want to get some prescription glasses without breaking the bank, definitely hit up FYTO. And second, decide what matters. Your wedding venue, your dress, your food, the photos, the music. What matters to you the most? Because I look on Say Yes to Dress a lot. I love watching that TV show. And I could tell you, I've seen some women come in with a budget of $1,000 and they see a dress that they love so much that's $2,500. And me, that would not drop at $2,500 on a dress, like, oh my gosh, I would have got that for $3K. Like, I'm over here in the background watching, like, girl, why you didn't buy that for $2,500? Talking about your budget only $1,000. As I get older, I understand it more, but back then when I was a little bit younger, I'm like, girl, you gotta drop that money. So that's kind of what I think about, is does your dress matter to you? Is it something that you want to hope to pass down to your child if you decide to have children, or if you want to have it as vintage, or you want to re-wear it for your another, like, 10-year, 20-year wedding? That's what you have to think what matters. Your venue. Is it a certain type of venue that you want? Do you want to be able to have a venue that's all-inclusive? Not all-inclusive. Do you want to, because I will be very honest with you, some of these venues, like, again, like I told you guys, I go on the knot and I look at these venues, and there was one venue that I saw, it was gorgeous, but they do not allow outside catering. And I was looking at their food menu, and I was saying to myself, no, this ain't it. Like, I guess the way I have to see, because in my wedding, for my reception party, it has to be Jamaican food. I'm sorry, it has to be Jamaican food. I want my oxtail, I want my curry goat, I want my jerk chicken, I want jerk pork, I want my fish, I want my rice and peas, I want my manishwata, I want them type of stuff. Those type of stuff I want at my wedding. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's money. And I know it's hard to find some caterers, because some caterers, they cook one meat good, but they don't cook the next. And I have to think about that as well. That's nothing. Your food. If food matters to you when it comes to you having your wedding, you got to make sure you get the top tier caterer. You know what I'm saying? Or you got DIY. If you know a family member that could cook real good, I know they want to be in the wedding, but they probably got to cook early in the morning and have that food heated up for later on or something. But that's stuff you have to think about when it comes to your DJ. Do you want a specific DJ that's really going to play the music that you want to hear? Because the worst thing you want to do is have a DJ that does not play the music that you gave him. Because now me and you tight. Now me and you tight. Because you tight because you're not getting your full money. And I'm tight because you messed up my wedding. Because if I send you a list of stuff that I want at my wedding, don't come the day of and tell me that you couldn't get the stuff for my wedding and then continue thinking we're going to continue on. You getting your full money. Because at this point now, something's getting recouped. Period. I'm like, don't play with me. Now, maybe you want a good decorator. That's another thing you gotta think about, because some of these decorators be decorating out their ass like this is top notch. And then there's some decorators that try to play you the day of because you're not on top of things. And that's something that I could honestly say is huge when it comes to your wedding planning. That's why your budget is very important. You have to figure out what is your non-negotiables. In a wedding, you have to know your non-negotiables, because there are going to be people that will try the living hell out of you. They will. And another thing that watching all of these like different shows, it's okay that you don't do everything. It's okay if maybe you don't have that 360 photo shoot that you wanted. And I feel like that's a part of life, and that's what happens. You may not get everything you want. Like, it's okay if you probably swap out real fake flowers, I should say, or artificial flowers, rather than getting real flowers, knowing that would be more money. That's okay. It's okay if you do certain things that will fit into your budget. It's okay if you buy a cheaper dress to spend more money towards maybe the venue or the caterer or something else. It's okay. It's okay in certain aspects, because weddings are like parties, right? But you want to also create your memories. If you are so hung up on one item, you don't really sit down and live in the moment and enjoy the party that you're having right now. You really don't. And that's something that's a huge factor that you want to include, and you also want to think about. It's life, honestly. It's life. But once you sit down and have that mindset that you know you're going to do something and accomplish something, you're going to rock the world. You're going to have a great ass wedding. You're not going to drop $1,000, $100,000, I should say, on a wedding. You're just going to do your damn thing. This is something that I want to leave you with. Are weddings becoming more about love or optics? And that's it for the Niecey Perspective. Bye. That's it for today's episode of the Niecey Perspective. And respectfully, that's my perspective. I'll see you on the next one.